Hi, I'm Joan Dice, and I'm here to do another fun tutorial on the SilverSilk Loom using the SilverSilk 3-needle chain. And but before I get started, I'd like to make one announcement. Please forgive me. I'm going to be reading this so I don't forget any parts of it. Starting yesterday, which is Wednesday, all new orders except for the wood products will have delayed shipping. Jules is traveling across the country starting tomorrow, Friday, so only wood products will ship until August 21st because they ship from a facility in Missouri. So that's a totally different facility. All other orders will ship starting August 21st that are placed between yesterday through the 21st. For your patience, Jules is offering 25% off all items except for the wood items while she travels. Just remember, the wood items are the bead boards, the wood looms, and wood buttons. I don't think she has any pendants left, but anything made of wood. The jewel loom, so I just want to give you some examples of how this 25% off affects the price. You know, we've been pushing the jewel loom starter kit, and the price on that was reduced to $25. And I checked on the website for, you know, the baby loom, the regular original jewel loom, and enough products to make your first project, you know, so it's great for Christmas or birthdays, just a gift, or even to add to your collection. That is now $21.75. That is a fantastic price for the value you get. And also 6mm check glass pearls, which is usually $4, are now $3. And you know, you can use that on the loom, but you can use those on any of your jewelry making items. And another great value, the $5 check glass mixes are now $3.75. You know, so just think of all your findings, cords, and beads are all on sale, you know, besides some other things I'm not thinking of offhand. Okay, so just want to go over, we are using the SilverSilk Loom today. It's a wood made of sustainable Baltic Birch Wood loom. And the cords are made for the 3mm SilverSilk cords, but it is great for this 3-needle because it is really less waste using this loom when you're warping. And then I'll also be using another sustainable Baltic Birch product, the SilverSilk bead board. I love how this is sectioned out. So I use that a lot with my bigger beads. Okay, so let's get started on our project then. And just to show you what we're going to be making, we're going to be making this bracelet with the seed bead pattern and fire polish. So, and then this is a great, sorry, my brain's going faster than my mouth. This is a great way to start on seed bead patterns if you're pretty worried about it, because the fire polish can take up a lot of room, so you're only doing one small section of the seed bead pattern. So let's get started. Okay, show you what I'm going to be using today. I have some like rainbow clear crystals, and I have this metallic gold Japanese glass bead. I just think that really pops out. These are all 11Os right here. And then I have like a gold lined clear bead and blue beads, all 11Os. And then for the fire polish, I have like a light blue, a darker gold color. And then this is like a really dark one with like blue and other color highlights. So those are going to be like centerpiece and end of the bracelets. So I got those all laid out on my bead board. Unfortunately, I didn't look at my chart, so I didn't lay the seed beads out in the right order. I wish I would have put the blue here and then moved these down. So there is a chart that I'm gonna add the attachment to in the description. And unfortunately, when I printed it out, it didn't come out good. But I also have it like it written out too for the seed bead part. But all this is written out. It's going to be part of it. As you can see, there's my chart. I tend not to use the chart anyway. So I want to show you how to warp first. And we're going to do it the easy way. I decided to use blue just to add more blue accents to this. So blue Wildfire. And actually I only need 2 warps for this, and they're going to be the center warps. So I'm going to add those first. And I'm thinking I'm going to try this a different way since I only need 2 warps. I'm going to put it over the center peg. Try not to waste so much Wildfire. And then I'm just taking it around to the back. And I'm going to just tie them together. Make sure it's pretty tight. Okay. Trim that off. Now I'm using river colored SilverSilk 3 needle chain, which I love these, and they're going to be the outside warp, so it's going to be like a frame to my beading. I love this stuff. It's so easy to use. And yeah, after my tutorial last week, I discovered I am going to try to do this. Just remember to, now I'm putting it on either side of the pegs. Sorry about that. You can see I'm putting it on either side. And I'm wrapping it around here, and I have the other one I'm holding. We want to make them, oh, crap. Okay. We want to make them tie. It doesn't matter which peg goes on the bottom. I'm just doing this to hold it in place. I'm going to use one of these. Good thing I got 2 of them here. To hold these in place and tighten them up, because when I used them last week, on last week's tutorial, it really held in place and didn't bother my beading. So I'm holding the SilverSilk tight, and I'm pushing this up against this, making sure it's tight, and I got that in place. I'm pushing it down so it makes that tighter. So it's nice. Oops, and I made a mistake. It went in the wrong warp over here, so I gotta fix that. Okay, so I want it on either side of the other 2 warps. Sorry about that. And I'll hold these in place. Open my bead stopper, put them in. I want to get it tied up against this and down. Oh man. May end up using 2 of them just to make sure they stay in place, and I think I will. My bead stoppers went flying across the room. So I'm going to clip that on and get it all the way down. And I clip this one on. So I'm going to use this tiny binder clip to keep it in place because I couldn't find one of the bead stoppers. Okay, now it's nice and tight. And I'm going to move the bead board back. I'm just leaving the rest of that silver silk on there so I can, when I trim it, I can make it as long a pieces as I can. And then don't worry about the shorter pieces you may get, because I've seen some cute designs, like somebody wire wrapped it through some hoops to make it look like a little hoop on a pair of earrings. And it was really cute. I mean, there's all kinds of ways you can use it. Or you can use it like a bead frame, you know, wrap it around. Okay, now. I am going to take about 2 yards. So that's about the longest I can go. A wildfire. Okay, I put a cardboard here. I folded it up just to tighten up my strings here. I do this with the Large Wisdom Warriors sometimes. So, you know, don't worry about if you have to do that, as long as you have tighter strings here. I'm going to make my beaded area about 6 1/4 long, because my clasp area from end cap, one end cap to the other with the clasp attached is about 1 1/4 long, and I want a 7.5 inch bracelet. So this measures from peg, one peg to the side to the other, 8 1/4. And so on. So we want to start about 2 inches in. So I'd say halfway between the S and Jules's name. Okay, just want to show you what I did. I went ahead and changed it to a black .008, because when I started this, I did not like how the blue was showing up against this dark river color, and this .008 blends in better. I don't mind with the warp still being blue. I also want to point out, I'm with warping, there's just days I can't tighten a warp very well as far as the wildfire goes. So what I did here was I folded up a large business card in 3 to raise it. And then, you know, I've said that my painter's tape is my best friend. I tape painter's tape to the end so it doesn't ruin the loom. And I went ahead and did my my fire line, and I saved 9 inches for the end, and to get it out of my way, I just taped it to the back here, so you can see it, because the light's not on that part. So I just like all those extra strings getting out of my way. And I forgot to thread my needle when I was starting this. We're going to start with the blue, and we're going to do 9 seed beads in blue first, because this is where I need for the longer bracelet. And if I make it too long, I don't mind. I'll either give it to somebody, or I don't mind wearing loose bracelets. I don't mind if they go around, flop around my wrist. Because to me, bracelets and rings are for me to look at. Earrings and necklaces are for other people to look at. I heard that on a jewelry show one time, and I thought, hey, that's pretty clever. It's true. And I do fidget with my bracelets a lot. And my rings. I like following the designs of them, you know, when I'm wearing them. Okay, I got 9 seed beads on here. And I want 3 seed beads between each warp. And what did I do? Oh, okay, I need to flip that over. Okay, there we go. Okay, I got the 3 seed beads between each warp. I really should start the other way. On the other side. It's just more comfortable for me. And I'm not looking to see if you can see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. It got flipped to the pattern and I have the pattern printed in front of me and I can't see if you can see what I'm doing. So with mine, I'm going to, except for the clear, I'm going to put a row of seed beads here. Like I said, I'm trying to start tiny bit past the halfway mark between the S and the jewels part for my sizing. Okay, so now I'm gonna let's see, this blue, the metallic gold. I love these metallic gold beads. I wasn't going to use them, but they pop out so much in the design. They're a Japanese bead. They look like metal, but they're glass. And it really makes the design pop. So I decided, you know, because I used it in my prototype, and I just love how they pop. So I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't use them though. And so you can. I got these at my local bead shop, and I actually have them in 15s, 11s, 15, 11s, 8s, and 6s. And I even have a couple sizes in the antique gold, and I have all those sizes in the silver too. I just love them so much. It just adds a way to add metal to some of your projects without actually using metal. Because sometimes the metal can cut through like the threads and stuff. Usually I'll go through this row and lock it in place. Oh, I gotta fix that. But since I got all that thread to tie at the end, I'm not going to worry about it on this design. But if you feel safer, go through the, back and forth twice. I don't know why I'm having so much time getting them even between each warp. So after this one, I'm going to do the another row of that gold lined bead that's a little bit clearer. And then I'll start the check glass. I'll check back with you with the check glass, okay? Just so this video doesn't go on forever. Okay, I got my 3 rows of seed beads. Now I'm going to put 5 rows of fire polish, and I'm going to make the same pattern in 3 spots on the bracelets. So the first row, like when you cut, if you have to cut down to make your sizes, just eliminate rows, make the design that you want or the pattern you want. But each row is going to contain 3 of the same color bead. Now for the gold, got the light blue, then the gold. So I'll come back when I come to the pattern. Okay, I'm just going to put 5 rows of seed beads, and then I'm going to start the pattern. Or 5 rows of fire polish, and I'll start the pattern. Okay, now I'm going to start the seed bead pattern. I'm going to have my pattern right here. I'm going to use the handwritten one. Like I said, you can use the drawing. I made adjustments, so please make sure you read the notes on the drawing, because I changed one of the colors, like within the diamond where it shows white, which you'd soon clear. I actually used the light jonquil, which is the gold line bead, and then I added a row of beads on either end, just to try to tie all the colors together. So, so I'm going to pick up 4 of the gold line rainbow jonquil. I'm going to pick up 9 of those. Three. 4. 5. 6. 'I'm going to see if I can scoot all these together and scoop. I got 9 here. So I'm going to, before I start getting into the pattern, just to save some time, I'm going to make a row of the, I just made a row of the light rainbow jonquil. Then I'll make a row of the metallic gold, a row of the blue, and then a row of the clear. So, and I'll be back when I get those rows done, and then we'll start where, the lines start changing. Okay, I got the first 4 rows of the seed bead pattern done, which was all solid colors. And then now, after I do the clear, now I'm going to start adding the actual pattern where each row is going to change. But my needle's getting a little curvy. I usually get my nylon jaw pliers to try to straighten it out some. I do that until it breaks, or it just doesn't work very well, because I was having a little bit of problems picking up seed beads. So in my first row, after the 4 solid colors, I'm going to pick up 4 clear. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 blue. 4 clear. That's pretty good. So what we're doing here is kind of forming a diamond, and I'm calling it diamond and fire. Fire and diamond. I can't remember what word I used first. Fire and diamond bracelet, because of the fire polish and then the pattern that the seed beads form. I originally was going to make this like a chevron, but when I was doing the prototype and did the chevron, I thought, I kept looking at it, and it would just have the fire polish right in the center, and the rest would be chevron. And I kept thinking of that diamond pattern, and I just went ahead and made the diamond pattern, and I liked it better. Okay, so now we got the first edge of one of our diamonds. Now we're going to increase it, and then we're going to make 3 clear. because it's probably because it was curvy. My needle was curvy. I was having problems picking it up in the tray. It's just one of those days. Sorry about that. So I laid the seed beads out on the mat because I usually can do it a little bit faster from a bead mat. Okay, so I got 3 clear, 3 blue, 3 clear. Some of you might be able to figure out this pattern. You know, just remember, you know, it increases and then gets to the other side and decreases. You know, just, you know, drops off colors just to form the diamonds. And I have each diamond wall double. Okay. Keep trying to catch on the SilverSilk the way I'm doing it. And okay, see, it's kind of fallen because I don't think I got it around under the warp, over the warp that time. So I'm going to just go back through instead of feeding it back and pick it up again. Maybe. Gotta watch that so I don't knock those beads off the table. I'm gonna raise it up and make sure I go over each warp when I'm going back. Yeah, I see the silver of the needle over the warp, so I know it's over the warp. Okay, now I'm going to do 2 clear, 2 blue, 1 gold, then reverse, 2 blue, 2 silver. Keep wanting to call these clear silver. Now I picked I like sparkly. I did pick sparkly. Don't be afraid to change it to what you like. Like, for instance, you can use clear, but not use the rainbow. Just use the regular clear. Or you can even make it like a pearly color, make it white, or white beads or whatever. Pearly beads, the pearly 11Os are really pretty. Yeah, now I need to pay attention to make sure I'm going over the warps. And I'm going back through. Okay, now I'm going to 1 clear, 2 blue, 3 gold, 2 blue, 1 clear. Okay, you can see where it's starting to form a diamond pattern. Pretty good. Okay, now we're going to have 2 blue. We're done with the clear right now. 2 blue, 2 gold. I'm just going to call this yellow. Okay, no. 1 yellow. 2 gold, 2 blue. Oops, I gotta, my cord met it, so I gotta move my tail down in my needle. Okay, go underneath. Yeah, and also if you don't like a lot of sparkly, like there's versions of these colors that aren't sparkly too. That's why I don't want to mention the colors too much, because you can find your own version. Jules has all kinds of colors in her store. Now we got 1. And then 2 gold. 3 light yellow, 2 gold, 1 blue. I don't know why I always put that in my hand when I, there. I gotta get the needle back over there. I have to do it the most awkward ways. This silver silk looks so delicate, but it's really strong. Okay. Okay. Now we're down to, we're almost to the center of this pattern. 2 gold, 2 light yellow, then we're going to go to blue, back to blue, 1 blue, 2 light yellow, we'll just work our way backwards again, 2 light yellow, 2 gold. See, I have glue on the bead mat. I keep forgetting to move my projects off the bead mats while I'm, you know, gluing the ends. Okay. This pattern is in the description of the video, and it's also will be in the blog too. Okay, now here's the middle row. We're going to do one gold, 2 yellow, 3 blue, then backwards again, 2 yellow, and 1 gold. Oh, you know what? I put in 4 blue. Oh, I hate that. Okay, let's get rid of the blue. Maybe it'll let me feed back through the other 3. Well, that worked out just fine. Line them up. Come on. Okay, that's the halfway point, and now the pattern reverses. So it's, you know, like the colors going backwards go this way, and once you get to the gold and then the light gold, then you're going to do this repeat of the these fire polish again, and then you're going to pick back up at the pattern just like it shows here, like we did here. When you do the fire polish, ignore these because that's just for the ends. But do the pattern here again. And then you're going to, after you do the CB pattern, you're going to do this again. And I'll come back just to keep the video, not being like 2 hours long. I'll come back when I get towards the end again, okay? As you can see, I finished the beading. I had stopped down here, and then I just went in reverse of the pattern to here, and did my extra rows of solids, 5 fire polish, and then I did the CB pattern again with the rows, 4 rows of solid, fire polish. This is actually going to end up bigger than what I mean for it to do. Just remember, when you're sizing your bracelet, you can cut off the ends, and maybe just, if you want, leave 1 row of seed beads at the end. And if you have an extra small bracelet, you can cut out some of these solid rows and even make a smaller section of fire polish depending on what size bracelet you have, wrist you have, or who you're making it for. So when I finished this, I tied off the end up here around the SilverSilk, and then I passed through here because I left 9 inches of cord. I passed through here, I counted 12 times, and then I tied it off again just for some support to make sure, security. And I'm going to do the same thing here. This is where I started the pattern. I tied it off when I started, and now I'm just going to go under, over, back and forth like that for 12 times. And this is getting ready for our ribbon crimp. And make sure you keep going under, over, because you start out over, you're going to do your last row. Okay, 2, under, over, 3. Oops. And we could tighten this up some too, since we're going to be using a little bit smaller ribbon crimp. And I just want to make this a little bit tighter. Sorry, this fell out earlier, the one I was using. I just want to hold it in place so I don't keep getting loose while I'm doing this. Okay, I started this and made a boo-boo, so I'm going to go ahead and go through. I noticed that what I was doing was off camera, so I'm going to explain what I did. When I finished this row, you know, and it's already explained that, you know, I passed through here 12 times, and then when I got to do this end, actually I already glued it too. When I went through this end, when I got done with the last, you know, this is where I started, and I had tied a knot. So, just trying to fix that blue bead. Okay, I tied a knot, and now I'm going through the under, over. I'm going through 12 times, you know, each way. So, 1, 2, 3. And I already did 6 rows, and then I realized I was off camera. So, you just do each way, under, over, that's 7. Because I already did it. Yeah, 6 rows. Okay, under, over, 8. Under, over, 9. Under, over, 10. Let me shorten this. Under, over, 11. Under, over, 12. Okay, and I want the rest of this. I left, you know, some for tying off. So it's going to be kind of a tight tie. I left 12 inches. I probably should have left 15 maybe to make it easier. So I'm going to tie my knot. But remember, all this is going to be glued too together. This is just going to make it a little bit harder to tie my knot. Okay. So I'm going around the SilverSilk. I'm back up, and I wrap it around so the wrap it around so the end of the cord goes inside the loop. I just pull tight. Let's see if they'll let me do it one more time. And just remember, this knot's going to be hid inside the crimp in. Okay. I'm going to take my thread burner, get it in, push it in. Yeah. I got my handy GS type of cement. And remember, don't squeeze this tube. Let your hand warm it up. So I'm kind of spreading it back and forth across, trying not to get any on the beads. I have cool hands, so I get a little bit impatient. Waiting for it to warm up. did come out. So I'm trying to keep myself not to squeeze because, you know, then it'll all come gushing out. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a real quick secret. I learned this from Myra Banks. If you want, when you want to put your lid back on, try to get in the frame for your hypo cement. Well, I'm trying to get adjustment because it's finally warmed up. It keeps coming out. Hold both at a 45 degree angle, and as you lift, the needle slides right back in. Thank you, Myra, for teaching me that. Okay, now we can take it off the loom. I always save my painter's tape in case it has enough sticky to be reused. I'm going to take these off. Remember, you don't have to, I mean, I use them for the SilverSilk because I think I can get a tighter warp than that. Now, get my handy scissors I could save just for my wildfire. Guess I'm going to have to cut it on this side. I don't know why I'm being real careful there because I don't need all that cord. Okay. Now, I kept the loop on that because when I trim it down, I always have a good piece of the chain left because I'll just cut it straight across. And that way I can use it for something else. Okay, now I'm going to, where's my paper towel? I am going to put a little bit of glue on the other side. Oh, let's see if that works. I want to kind of double this, or maybe make a little extra, so that way I can wrap it around, because that's what I'm going to glue over those thread weaves I did. Okay, so let me do another one. I know I'm going to have to trim it down once I get it. I just want to make sure I have enough to work with. Cut this. When it comes to ribbon, you know, I'm using 1/8 because it usually works out better. Usually they say use like a satin ribbon or a velvet ribbon or something. I saw somebody else use something else, so I'm just going to try it. I haven't had a problem so far. Because I would think just so long as everything's glued, it should be okay. So I'm going to put some glue across this. And I also picked up the gold sparkly because I want it to kind of blend in with the clasp. Okay. Now, I'm going to lay the weaving without getting on the beads. And I'm going to squeeze in the SilverSilk a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of more glue where it overlaps. And I'm going to hold on to it to let it dry some. And then I'm going to do the other end, and I'll come back when I get both ends done. Okay, I got everything glued on, so I'm going to trim up against the ribbon. This is a little bit wider. Oops. Let me scoot that down. So I kind of folded over the ends to hide them in the clasp. So, and like on the other end of the SilverSilk, see I still had the loop, so I was able to cut this much off so I could use that to wrap up on something or use it as a bead frame. And I probably can do it against this. So cut your cords right up against the ribbon. I have to use two cutters, different cutters for this, since I'm using both SilverSilk and the Wildfire. And see, that ended up being a nice piece too that I can just smooth out. See how quickly that smooths out? Now, I already got the other end done. And I got my clasp attached to this, which you might, since I'm using magnetic clasp, if you're using a magnetic clasp, you might want to wait. So when you're crimping it, say I'm using flat nose pliers with some tool magic on it. Some people, I've used nylon job pliers. I used to use that, but they'd slide a lot, so I really like it with the tool magic. So be careful not to get it over your beads and then cracking them since they're glass or breaking them. So I do both sides and I just crimp over it. Now, so for the measuring, this is where I'm going to find it's pretty big. But, oh, just a minute. One of mine still has an old, yeah, there it is. Okay. So there we go. So like I said, this would even be cute having this in the center, maybe skipping this all together and maybe making like 3 sections of the seed bead, or with some in the middle, or maybe like one to 3 rows of fire polish in between to break up the sections. But this is a good pattern if you're learning seed beads and how to make a pattern with it, but you don't want to go with a whole length. So, or you could just make this in the middle and use big beads on each side all the way just to get a little practice with the seed beads. Okay. Thank you for joining me with this tutorial, and I hope you enjoy making it. Don't forget the pattern and descriptions to help you out with this bracelet are in the description of this video. Plus, I'll be including it in the blog, which I'll be posting around various places tomorrow. So I thank you again for joining me, and have a great